Sam Drinks Beer, and this is a beer review. So it's been a few weeks since my last video. Apologies for that. I've been quite busy. I'm in a different setting today because I usually record in my office and it's fucking boiling. And it's slightly less boiling in here, but I have had to turn the fan off, obviously, which is a bit of annoying. But anyway, we're all professionals here, so beer review time. So when people think of the sort of forefathers of craft beer in this country, the sort of breweries that come to mind are sort of Brewdog, Thornbridge, them two really. But there's another one people often sort of forget, and it is the kings of minimalism. That is the Kernel. Now the Kernel, their bottles all pretty much look the same. They're based in London. They were one of the first craft breweries in London. Formed in 2009. This is a bottle of their dry stout, hopped with Wai-iti and Motueka. So that's it. They're a pain in the ass to check in to untap the Kernel because they brew with different hops and different batches, and it's, you have to not just find the right beer, you have to find the right beer with the right hop varieties and everything. But their beers are usually cracking, very sort of, while they are sort of very craft and sort of modern in that sense, there is a little bit of sort of, I always feel with the Kernel, there's always a bit of sort of old schoolness. The beers are always very straight up, just never, you don't get any sort of pastry stout, you don't get any lactose milkshake IPAs, you just get straight up stouts, pales, IPAs, saisons, whatever. And this is a dry stout. It's what's the ABV? 4.7%, so not particularly high ABV, but the dark beers I have had from the Kernel have been excellent. And they, from my experience, they do a good low ABV dark beer. So, yeah. Just looking at the back here, it says store upright and pour gently. If you prefer to leave the yeast sediment inside the bottle. Oh, if you prefer, yeah. So, yeah, that's what you always find with also Kernel beers. Like I said, they're very straight up, simple. There's always a bit of sort of sediment. But anyway, let's stop talking and get into this beer. Bit of lot of smoke on the opening. Not smoke, what's it called? Condensation, vapor. I know a lot of people call it smoke, but it's not smoke, is it? It's vapor. So yeah, pouring it. Oh, it smells good. A lot of head. Says a lot that I can't get a 330ml bottle in a glass that's bigger than 2/3, but oh god, it's lively. Smells very much like an old school stout. Think stuff like Guinness Original. Get very malty, a bit of licorice. Slight bit of chocolate, slight bit of coffee. But very, very malt forward, as you'd expect. Get it all in. I don't mind any sediment, it can go in my glass. Yeah. Smells good. There's also sort of a slight hoppiness. That's one thing you do find with Kernel's sort of stouts and porters. They do have a bit of a hop sort of character to them. And Motueka, you know, and Wai-iti are very much sort of New Zealand hops. No. Wai-iti I haven't had too much, I don't think. Motueka I've had in plenty of things. I could be talking shit, it might not be New Zealand hops, but I'm sure someone will correct me. I think they are, though. They sound New Zealandish. Anyway. Let's dive in. It smells good. Very malty on the taste. It's definitely tasting like quite an old school stout, like very much sort of like your trad ale sort of stout, straight up, junk free, no lactose from aware of. No, I don't think so. Ingredients: water, hops, sugar, yeast, barley, oats. Yeah, it's thin, but it is only 4.7%. It's dry as you'd expect from a dry stout. Little chocolate, little bit of coffee. Slight bitterness on the back end. It's actually quite crisp and refreshing, which I do find with dry stouts compared to other. I know dark beers get a little bit of a rep for being more of a winter beer, but you know, I think I think stouts can be refreshing and crisp, particularly ones like this. And this is definitely that. You know, it's I could session on this. It's very crushable. But yeah, a little bit of hoppiness as well. And I don't mind a little bit of hoppiness in a stout. You know, it's just a straight up old school stout. That's all there is to it. It's all the flavours are done with the hops, the malt and yeast. You know, there's no cacao nibs, there's no vanilla, there's no tonka, there's no chocolate chucked in or peanut butter or whatever. You know, it's just, yeah. I'm a big fan of a straight up stout. Sort of like I haven't really talked about the colour. It's sort of like a sludgy, mud-like colour. It's not completely black. You can sort of see it's sort of very brown. I would hold it up to the light, but it's actually quite, despite the heat, it's very overcast today. So, not really any light to hold it up to, but, hang on. Got my work phone here, let's shine a torch through it. It's murky. It sort of looks quite an amber colour when you sort of shine a light through it. Yeah, if I shine it underneath, yeah, it's an interesting colour. Very sort of. It looks sort of sludgy to the eye when you look at it, but it's sort of like an amberness when you shine a light through it, which is interesting. well, it is very thin, and that's probably the only real criticism of it. It has got an okay mouthfeel. Very carbonated, and sort of the bubbles do push it around the mouth, which is nice. To rate it then. It's nice. It's a really nice straight up stout. The sort of ABV range, it's thin. Again, there's not many sort of stouts around this ABV that do have a good sort of body on them, so I don't want to be too critical. On that. Mouthfeel's decent. Smells good. It's refreshing, crisp. It's just a nice sort of dry stout. I'm thinking around the 4 mark, I think, out of 5 on the Untapped. So gassy, actually, for a stout. Yeah, it's just a solid, straight up stout that I'd happily session on, drink again. Just a really nice bit. 4 out of 5. This has been a review of the Kernel's Dry Stout, hopped with Wai-iti and Motueka. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe. I've been stuck on 26 subscribers now for God knows how long. And just don't know how to boost it. So I'd really appreciate a subscription. I promise there won't be another 2-week period before my next video. Well, I'll try not to, but life comes at you fast sometimes. But anyway, yeah, like and subscribe, as I said. If you want to follow me on Instagram, SamDrinksBeerYT, add me on Untapped, SamDrinksBeer93. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next one. Cheers.